Hello, welcome to FightCore USA.
In the world of combat sports, there are few things more exciting than a short notice fight. And today we're going to count down the top 5 short notice fights. A fighter drops out of a scheduled bout for any number of reasons. It happens all the time, and it's usually because of injury. Fighters get injured. It's part of the territory. But when they do, somebody has to step in and take their place. Sometimes that person is a completely different opponent. Sometimes it's a late replacement from the undercard, and sometimes it's literally a fan. You never quite know what's gonna happen. But when somebody steps in on short notice to replace an injured fighter, they have to be prepared to go in and fight anybody. They don't have the luxury of a full training camp, but they still have to be ready to go. Some replacements only have a matter of days to prepare. Others might have a couple of weeks, but that's it. They need to be ready to step into the cage or the ring with somebody who has been preparing for that fight for months and be able to give a good account of themselves. It's a huge risk to take, stepping in on such short notice. It's also a huge opportunity. In the right circumstances, winning a short notice fight can instantly make a fighter's career. It's the ultimate test of being always ready. You could be called upon at any moment to face anyone. How will you respond? When you think about the most famous short notice fights of all time, several names come to mind. There's Conor McGregor stepping in to replace an injured Jose Aldo and knocking him out in 13 seconds at UFC 194. There's Michael Bisping stepping in to replace an injured Luke Rockhold and dethroning the long-reigning middleweight champion, Spider-Man. How about Matt Brown stepping in to replace an injured Johnny Hendricks and knocking out perennial welterweight contender Robbie Lawler? Or how about Donald Cerrone stepping in to replace an injured Benson Henderson and losing a split decision to Anthony Pettis for the lightweight title at UFC 164. Those are just a few examples of fighters who stepped in on short notice and wound up making their careers. Stepping in on short notice can take a fighter from relative obscurity to overnight stardom. Like when Steve Bosworth was given just 3 days to prepare for a heavyweight bout against Mark Hunt at UFC Fight Night 89 in 2016. Bosworth, a relative newcomer to the UFC at the time, accepted the fight despite the extremely short preparation period. He ended up losing a unanimous decision to the highly experienced and dangerous Mark Hunt, but his performance caught the attention of fans and media alike. Despite the loss, Bosworth was awarded the Fight of the Night bonus for his valiant effort and resilience in the face of such a daunting challenge. This exposure propelled his career forward, leading to more high-profile opportunities and ultimately earning him a spot among the top 10 ranked heavyweights in the world. Antes the time that Tony Ferguson stepped in on less than 2 weeks' notice to replace an injured Khabib Nurmagomedov in a lightweight title bout at UFC 209. Despite the limited preparation time, Ferguson put on an impressive performance, showcasing his signature aggressive fighting style and relentless pace. Although he ultimately lost the third-round technical knockout, his performance left a lasting impression on fans and solidified his status as a top contender in the lightweight division. These stories demonstrate the kind of impact that stepping in on short notice can have. It's a high-risk, higher reward proposition. but here are 5 short notice fights that I would love to see sometime soon. No. 1. Khamzat Chimaev challenges Israel Adesanya for the middleweight title. If there's one thing that the UFC loves more than anything else, it's a good old-fashioned grudge match. And if there are 2 people who have a genuine dislike for each other, it's these 2. Khamzat Chimaev and Israel Adesanya have been trading barbs back and forth for quite some time now. Things really started heating up when Chimaev started calling out Adesanya after his win over Gilbert Burns at UFC 273. Stylebender responded by making fun of Chimaev's striking skills and comparing him to a certain viral video of a gorilla using a phone. Needless to say, Boers didn't take this very well, and he continued to call out Adesanya, even offering to fight him in a boxing match. However, the straw poll vote for this matchup wasn't exactly in Chimaev's favor. To put it lightly, Adesanya would destroy him. Not wanting to lose his undefeated record in the UFC, Chimaev decided to switch targets and went after Alex Pereira. Instead, Pereira would eventually go on to become the middleweight champion by defeating Adesanya twice. So, Chimaev decided to wait it out and finally got his wish when Adesanya suffered a torn meniscus in his knee. As crazy as it sounds, Chimaev has offered to fight Adesanya, despite having just come off an illness which put him out of action for nearly a year. Talk about stepping in on short notice. Now, in all seriousness, this is definitely not going to happen. Even though Chimaev has proven to be a dominant force in the welterweight and middleweight divisions, it's unlikely that the UFC would allow him to jump straight into a title fight against Adesanya, especially after such a long layoff. Plus, the bad blood between them could easily spill over into the next fight and potentially distract from what should be a memorable championship bout. Nevertheless, it would certainly be an interesting matchup to see if the two were to ever square off. Who do you think would win? Number 2, Dustin Poirier versus Alexander Volkanovski, with both fighters coming off impressive wins over their last opponents. It seems like a no-brainer that they would be next in line for a title shot. But there's a small problem.
Excellent.
Max Holloway is still waiting in the wings after losing to Volkanovski in their trilogy bout earlier this year. To add fuel to the fire, Holloway recently posted on social media claiming that he deserves the next title shot. So what's a guy to do? Well, why not throw Poirier and Volkanovski in the mix and let them duke it out for the title with 2 fighters who are known for their striking prowess and relentless fighting spirit. This matchup promises to be an instant classic. It would also send a clear message to the rest of the division that whoever comes out victorious will be the #1 contender. While this may seem like an unconventional way to determine a title shot, it certainly wouldn't be unprecedented. Remember Conor McGregor's rise to fame when he replaced an injured Jose Aldo at UFC 194. Could something similar happen here? Well, it's possible. Both Poirier and Volkanovski have been vocal about their desire to fight each other. And with the UFC's penchant for creating memorable matchups, it wouldn't be surprising if this bout was made sooner rather than later. Let us know what you think. No. 3. Stephen Thompson challenges Leon Edwards for welterweight title for the first time in his career. Leon Edwards is the UFC welterweight champion after defeating Kamaru Usman at UFC 278. The British fighter has cemented himself as one of the top four-pound fighters in the world. But his reign as champion is already under threat from one fighter in particular, Stephen Thompson. Thompson has long been considered one of the most exciting and unpredictable welterweights in the UFC. With his unorthodox fighting style and explosive knockouts, and he has made no secret of his desire to win the title. Just after Edwards won the title, Thompson posted on social media expressing his confidence in his ability to defeat the new champion. But he has since backed up his bold words with impressive performances in his last two bouts. Most recently, he defeated Kevin Holland in the second round via TKO, showcasing his signature karate skills and cementing his place as a top contender in the welterweight division. With his sights set on the title, Thompson is eager to prove that he is the man to dethrone Edwards and become the new welterweight champion. And we've got to be honest, this is probably going to be Edwards' toughest test to date. Thompson's karate background gives him a unique edge in the octagon, and his ability to keep fighters guessing makes him a dangerous opponent for anyone. A showdown between these two would be an instant classic, and we can't wait to see what goes down. No. 4. Gervonta Davis challenges Ryan Garcia for the WBA lightweight title. This super lightweight matchup has been a long time coming, with both fighters publicly calling each other out for years. Finally, it looks like the two will finally get their chance to settle the score in the ring. Davis, who holds the WBA lightweight title, is known for his aggressive fighting style and powerful punches. Garcia, on the other hand, brings his own set of skills to the table, including his lightning-fast speed and impressive knockout power. This promises to be an exciting matchup between two of the most electrifying fighters in the world. However, there's still one major obstacle standing in the way. And that's the fact that Davis is currently scheduled to face Hector Luis Garcia in a scheduled defense of his WBA lightweight title on January 7th, 2023. But that doesn't mean that a matchup between Davis and Ryan Garcia is completely off the table. If the Garcia fight falls through for whatever reason, Davis could turn his attention to Ryan Garcia and make that super lightweight matchup a reality. It would certainly be a high-risk move to step in on such short notice, but it would also be a huge opportunity to make history. And no 1-5, Amanda Nunes challenges Juliana Pena for the bantamweight title. One of the biggest rivalries in women. SMMA today is without a doubt between Amanda Nunes and Juliana Pena. Their first encounter took place at UFC 269 in December 2021, when Pena shocked the world by defeating Nunes via submission in the second round. This result marked the first time that Nunes had lost in 7 years, and it sent shockwaves throughout the MMA community. In their second encounter at UFC 277, Nunes exacted her revenge by defeating Pena in a rematch via TKO in the second round. Despite the loss, Pena remains confident in her abilities and has not ruled out a potential trilogy fight with Nunes. In fact, she has been calling for a rubber match between the two. And with Nunes' recent victory over Pena, it seems like the stage is set for a final showdown. However, there's still one major obstacle standing in the way, and that is the fact that Nunes is currently scheduled to face Ketlin Vieira in a bantamweight title defense on February 11, 2023. But that doesn't mean that a matchup between Nunes and Pena is completely off the table. If the Vieira fight falls through for whatever reason, Nunes could turn her attention to Pena and make that long-awaited trilogy a reality. Who do you want to see step in on short notice, and why? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching.
Okay guys, thank you for watching my videos.